Thank you so much for tuning in to Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz Breezy Gipson. We're so glad that you decided to join us this evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you may be, because, we got another international show going on today. So how about that?
International is the thing. It's always good to be around the hood, but the international side, oh yeah, we're with it.
Yes, indeed. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. We've got an interview coming up with Öykü, Dogan, out of Italy, and of course we've got music industry news for you, and guess what, beats by yours truly.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right.
good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We're glad to be here one more time. And this is a very, very special day right now because we're actually speaking with a young lady who is blazing her own trail all around the world. She's a world traveler, as a matter of fact, and visited many places. And so, without any further ado, we're going to bring her right on, and the one and only Öykü. And we are just glad to have you. Öykü, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay. And so share with our listeners right now, where are you, in what city and in what country?
Right now I'm in Italy. It's called Piacenza, the city. It's close to Milan, and it's a smaller city. And I came here to study music 10 or 11 years ago. And I'm originally from Turkey, Izmir. And Izmir is close to Greece on the Aegean Sea. So both Mediterranean cultures, let's say.
Hey, that sounds good. That sounds good. When you say Mediterranean culture, I think about foods, I think about views, I think about bodies of water, I think about mountains, I think about greenery, and so now you're going to give us a little taste of what the music culture is about there. That's really great. What do you think, Achickwitbeatz?
Man, I think it's awesome. I'm really excited, to hear about having the exposure to those cultures, even though, still Mediterranean, how that's affected you musically and how it's helped you grow.
Yes. Okay, so my music adventure started when I was really, really young, when I was 4 and 5 years old. And ever since, I've been experimenting with different music styles. Started with classical, but I always, listened to rock music at home growing up, also pop music. I also love rap music. And then I came to Italy. I majored in jazz, also modern music. So I have these different genres and different worlds. Also in 2 different countries, they're both Mediterranean, but they have many things in common with, the way of living, but the music is really different. I grew up more with Western music, not traditional Turkish music, but of course I'm familiar with it. And sometimes I use some really small details in my music. But the thing is, I've always been writing songs in English. And only recently I have started writing songs in Italian. So this is, news for me, and we'll see how it goes. So this is like the general mixture of my musical worlds, let's say.
That's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And so you're touching so many different segments of the population, not only with the different genres, but with the locales. I mean, you're the first person that I've come across that is in such a diverse locale and having conversations and growth with so many. Okay, you touched on Turkey and close to the Aegean Sea and parts of Italy, close to Milan, and I mean there's a melting pot, especially with all the different genres that you mentioned. So I'd say that you're in rare air doing all of that, wouldn't you?
Thanks. It's something that I really like because I don't want to be limited with just one genre or one style. I think it's good to share, different cultures and put some elements together and share different things with different people. So that's kind of my, what inspires me the most about having different kinds of styles and everything.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yeah, that's really good because, there's so many formulas that people use for popular music. And, okay, well, this chord plus this topic makes an instant hit. But, when you mention that about blending the different styles and not wanting to be stuck in one, that's the type of music that kind of sticks with you like long term, as opposed to just for that one evening that you may have been out when you heard it, or, whatever the case may be. So it's really exciting to hear you, using all of the cultural experiences that you've had and putting it together, to make something special and memorable.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, for example, nowadays we hear that the music is becoming more like putting together things, as you said, the right chords, more like a formula. But I think it has to be something that really touches the soul.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's something that we shouldn't lose, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Agree wholeheartedly.
Okay, and so in the beginning, you mentioned some connections with rock or with soul, jazz, rapping, and so forth. So now, I mean, to me, that's extraordinarily great because at any given time, you could have any given type of flow to lead you in one direction or another. So can you share with our listeners, how would you describe yourself as far as your style, let's say 10 years ago versus your style right now today?
Yes, for sure. Okay, so 10 years ago, I was more, I have studied already classical piano, composition, and things like that, also modern music, but I was more trying to make I was learning how to produce songs. So it was more like, I think I need to make some pop songs, whatever was working in that period. And I had also different kinds of projects, but let's say my main career was more like that. But now that I also went through the jazz period and everything, and also my experiences, also some traveling and everything, I think that I like experimenting much more. I feel more bold, and I'm not afraid to do some super experimental stuff that might be weird for maybe general public, let's say, but it's worth it because they might also love it. So, I'm trying to do what I really, really love, and also what could help and inspire people. So I'm not only considering myself or what could be the secret formula anymore, but it's more like a wide point of view. I think this is the main difference, especially after this crazy period of the virus that hit Italy especially so hard. I think this year also changed me even more. So yeah, I think this is the main difference.
Yeah, that's so relatable. Do you have any advice for any artists that may be listening that maybe haven't gotten to that other side of courage, to where, instead of looking for that, 1, 2, 3 formulaic thing that we were just discussing, but maybe like little encouragement for somebody that's kind of thinking about branching out and doing what they really want to do as opposed to what they think will be popular?
Yeah. For example, the best thing to try would be to stop being a perfectionist. Maybe that has helped me a lot, because I was maybe stuck on something and trying to make it perfect instead of sharing it with the world. But you never know, it might touch some people, even though it's not what's considered as perfect. And, doing a lot of experiments, also trying some other styles. Even it's totally okay choosing just one style and, continuing with that genre or anything. It's a personal choice or an artistic choice, but it's also good to, listen and make a lot of research. Also, checking the history, because everything is so connected and everything has an explanation behind. So all these little details in the end creates, I think, a complete artist, let's say. So instead of maybe analyzing too much and trying to copy, maybe it's good to find your own personal, path and who you are as a person, as an artist. This could be it. Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Now, I've got a question to ask you. Now, born and raised, growing up in Turkey, okay,
Yes.
and now you've traveled around the world, a lot of different places, and many folks don't have that opportunity. But now you're in Italy, so how many different languages have you adapted to? How many languages can you speak right now?
Okay, Turkish, yes. Italian. Italian I only learned as I was coming here. But before that, when I was little, I went to a French elementary school and a French middle school in Izmir, and an American high school in Izmir, because we have those kind of special schools where you can learn the language, like all the lessons and courses are in that specific language. You also learn about the culture. So it's been really useful. And apart from that, I also used to speak German, but I think I completely forgot because it's been many years since I haven't used it. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's
so having mentioned those different languages, if I were to throw out right now and say, does hip hop music transcend those different languages, or the other way around? Do those different languages transcend through hip hop?
Meaning that they influenced it as a genre, or the genre influences, like, could you explain the question a little bit more?
Well, okay, let's say for hip hop or jazz or house music or the different genres, do the languages help spread those genres, or do the genres help spread those languages?
Well, sometimes in some cases we are so used to hearing a genre in a specific language, but then it starts spreading as a genre, and then also other languages start experimenting with it, I think. For example, I was so used to listening to hip hop in English. And then when I heard for the first time, let's say, Italian rap, Italian hip hop, I was surprised, because in the end it works perfectly, but it's also so different. But they managed to adapt it also in French, also in Turkish. So, yeah. I think it also kind of changes with the languages a little bit. Transforms, yeah, it kind of transforms.
Okay. So, go ahead, Achik.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you had mentioned earlier about, you know, how you kind of gravitated towards the English or American hip hop. And I was just curious who some of your influence may have been around those times.
It all started when I was in middle school. And I think it was when Eminem got very popular. But before him, I already knew about Tupac, for example, or the classics, let's say. But with him, I was really obsessed with it. And then I loved it as a genre because it, tells a lot of stories while the beats are so, maybe the rhythm is so strong, but some elements are so soft. Maybe there's a super sweet piano, and then there's kind of mixture of elements. Sometimes you get, even from a classical piece, you get a sample and then put some really hard drums, hard bass. The contrast, it really inspires me. And then, there's the rapping, and then there's a really maybe nice melody in the chorus. So I like these kinds of contrasts and different elements, also representing different cultures, which is something really amazing.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Okay. And so now, in your background, I noticed that one time, perhaps a while back, you actually were able to travel and visit Atlanta, Georgia. And so what was that like when you came to Atlanta? I mean, what were the differences, or some of the differences, but then what were some of the things that you say, oh, well, I can adapt to that because this is the same back in Italy?
Okay, so in general, it's really different. Also, like lifestyle. And also, for example, let's say in Italy, everything is much smaller, from cars to the streets to the houses. It's more like super historical, colorful, and really, really small, like narrow streets. And they're really huge buildings, huge streets, and everything is more open, wide. That was the first impression, let's say. And I have also visited New York and Miami and different cities. I've noticed this thing a lot. And also here there are more, maybe, for example, some traditions, how you live a day, some hours that are really fixed for many people. Or in bigger cities, especially like Atlanta or New York, the life keeps going. It doesn't stop. For example, in this city that I live in, after, let's say, 11, it just stops. Only the musicians are awake. But I was already familiar with the American culture in general, because somehow in Turkey we have a lot of American influence. For example, let's say restaurants or music, of course, or different things, brands. Also, I was going to an American high school, so I was familiar with the culture. So they're different, but I loved people because they were really, just talking to you. Maybe they like your shoes. They were saying, "Oh my God, I love your shoes." They were really warm and open. I really loved it. And that was something really inspiring, I think. And yeah, these are the main differences, I think.
Okay, now, what about similarities? Are there similarities in the music?
In the music, Italian music is really specific. I think the style is really, recognizable, and as it is with the American music. So they're not so similar. As we were saying before, yes, there are some genres that were adapted, so they might sound a little more, for example, hip hop, rap, a little bit more similar, but pop music is completely, I think, different. Here it's much more, it's a little darker. The pop music is more, with also the voice, the way they use the voice, they yell more, they're really emotional, let's say. Usually, for example, the pop music is more sunny, is more, let's sing all together, let's dance all together. And here is let's feel all together. This might be something, yeah. Other similarities here, jazz music is, kind of popular. There were also a lot of jazz musicians from Italy that transferred to the United States also in history. So that is, of course, that doesn't change. It's more universal. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now, share with our listeners a bit more about you and what the year 2021 is going to bring, and maybe even the year 2022.
Okay. Recently, especially, I've been feeling even more inspired. And so I've been writing so many songs, also in Italian, as I mentioned before. But so I have a more, I think my style is changing. I found myself more. So I'm looking forward to releasing these songs. I think first as singles, but I might think of creating another album. So this year I will try to keep on releasing and working really hard. And this is a difficult time, but especially also for concerts, we can't perform or anything, but the positive thing is that we can stop and create something. So first I was really stressed, so I couldn't really even think of creating songs last year especially, but now I feel really, really inspired. So I'm looking forward to sharing these songs with the world, and the main plan is releasing a lot.
Okay. Okay. Now, if I may, you say releasing another album. How many albums do you have?
Two, but they're both self-produced. The first one was in 2013. It was actually my thesis project. I was supposed to choose a project for my thesis, and then I decided to make an album.
Wow.
But I'm so glad I did, because after that, many doors have opened, and then I once again got the confirmation that this is what I love. And the second one was in 2019, which was, much different. It was more like just piano and vocals, a really intimate, really emotional kind of album. So these are the two albums that I have released so far, and some different singles I have released until now. So yeah, it would be the third.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so now, where do people follow you, and actually, where do people purchase from you the songs and the singles and the albums that you've currently made?
They're all available on, all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, and some of them are also on YouTube, some music videos, a lot of covers. So yeah, I'm trying to also concentrate a lot on Spotify, because it's becoming like the main thing, streaming music. So yeah, under the name of Öykü Dogan.
Right, fantastic.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chick.
All right. Yeah, I really enjoyed having you on the show. I really hope that you come back and join us again, because I kind of feel like, we scratched the surface, but, you shared so much valuable information, and even just taking the time to share your story with us is, it's just very uplifting. So we hope that you'll join us again soon.
I would love to. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it too. And once again, thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Well, see, I'm going to just step on out there and say, we got to have you back. Okay. And so whether it's 3 months, 6 months, or whatever, because your story was very enthralling to me. And coming from Turkey and going to Italy, and then traveling around the world. And so in one word, to all musicians out there, as a singer or somebody who specializes in an instrument, would you suggest that they travel around the world, or to as many places as possible, or stay right there in their own city? What would you suggest?
When it will be safe to travel again, they should definitely try and travel. Even, the close, just changing the city changes a lot, opens up a lot of new horizons and introduces different points of view. So yeah, I would say definitely yes. Okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're glad that, we've had these moments with Öykü, and, we're looking forward to more. It's just a very upbeat time. So thank you for taking the time out of your day and to share with us as well as our listeners. And Achickwitbeatz, wouldn't you think that this is a very upbeat occasion right here?
Absolutely. I've enjoyed every second of it. So thank you.
Me too. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it too.
And we're looking forward to you coming back. And so take care, take charge, and thank you for taking the time. And so I'll be reaching out, and you say, oh, that's that guy Breezy. Yeah, it's time. Yeah, it's time. It's time. Okay.
Looking forward to it, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. And so another interview going down right here on the Music Marvels show. And so with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson, it's just been a wonderful time right here, sharing some views all the way from Italy, from the one and only Öykü Dogan. Thank you, man.
That was such a great interview. She was so pleasant. I really appreciated all the information that she shared, the stories and things that she's been through. It was very, very enlightening, and I really do look forward to her coming back.
Yeah, that value with her speaking several different languages and adapting to this country, adapting to that country, whatever. So that just reminds us that if other people can do it, then we can too. So she's a great inspiration.
Yes, she is. All right, we're gonna be back after some more beats by yours truly with music industry news. Not the total gossip and stuff that you're used to seeing everywhere else, but things that can actually benefit you in your music career. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after this. right, music industry news time. You know, I feel like we've been talking a lot about people selling their music publishing catalogs. And, you know, it's a big business right now. You've got all these companies just shelling out money in order to be able to purchase the publishing rights. So that way they can kind of, you know, make money off of the celebrity of these stars that have worked so hard with their songwriting careers. And Paul Simon is the latest to join that group. So he was willing to accept a nice chunk of change for Sony Music. So we'll see what's coming with that. You know, there's a lot of mixed feelings about it. Some people are like, oh, yeah, you don't give away your publishing, which to a certain extent can be true. But for all the energy and effort that some of these seasoned artists have been putting into their work throughout the years, now they're kind of getting a lump sum payment for all the work that they've already done. This doesn't mean that they can't, invest in something else or, even make more music for that matter. So, I personally think, for some of the ones that kind of need a more steady income stream at this point, it makes sense. What do you think, Breeze?
Yeah, and I agree with you. Over the weekend, I did view a documentary concerning the famous band, well-known band, the Eagles, and the trials and tribulations that they went through with their band members and as songwriters and artists. And so, yes, I agree with you because there's so many things that you got to keep a hand on, but there's so many options for you to earn income. So you got to keep a broad view. Mm-hmm. And so you get that right here on this show.
Yes. So another big thing that's coming up is YouTube can't deny the popularity of hip hop, especially since it's the number one genre in the US right now. So now they're opening up more opportunities for hip hop creators to kind of get in on the ad placement. So, they want to capitalize on what's happening, kind of get in where they fit in. It's a natural move to make. I'm not really clear on what took them so long to realize it, but they're trying to correct it now.
Yeah, because, we've been realizing that for a long time. Mm-hmm. So, they've been pretty slow about that.
I agree. So, there's, Women's History Month has come to a close in March, but, something that's still pretty dear to my heart, especially as a female music producer, radio show co-host, and all that good stuff, I notice a lot of disparities. And so, in an effort to kind of alleviate some of this, the more light that we shed on it, hopefully people can become more aware of some of these things that women tend to suffer in, the entertainment industry as a whole. And so one story that dropped that was very, not surprising, but kind of disheartening to actually see the stats. But apparently the music recommendation algorithms are unfair for female artists or even women who identify as female. So here's the thing. The new study showed that when they tested the algorithm, they found on average that the first recommended track was by a man, along with the next 6. Users had to wait until at least song 7 or 8 to hear one song by a woman.
Not good.
Not good at all. So, they said that, of course, the algorithm works on what you listen to. So if they're recommending these songs and, 1 out of every 10 is a female, then of course they're going to assume that you prefer listening to male artists. So as you keep listening to these recommendations, they're basically putting you in what they call a feedback loop. So in order to break this, if they would just kind of tweak it and maybe add in a couple more female artists into their recommendation algorithms, then it becomes a bit more balanced, or at least reflective of the music industry as a whole. So, we all remember, I believe, was it last year, I think? May have been the year before that, where the guy who used to be the president of the Recording Academy said that if women wanted more Grammys, they need to step up. But the problem isn't that women aren't making music. It's that they don't receive the same attention that male counterparts get, or even taken as seriously. So, this algorithm is kind of reflecting some of that same stuff that we've been seeing, which is why it's not surprising, but it is alarming. So, keep an eye out for that when you're checking out recommendations. If you want to help contribute to keep things from being so uneven and unmatched, maybe kind of seek out someone else so that way you can feed to the algorithm what you're actually interested in or what you support.
It still boils down to that C word, control. So whether the computers are doing it, then somebody's still programming the computers. Whether there's technical input, somebody's still controlling that. So, it's slanted in an uneven direction, and they need to rectify that, like, in a hurry.
Yes, absolutely. So, just something to stay conscious of. Every little bit helps, even if you just make one small change. Ask for recommendations from female artists, non-binary, whatever the case may be. If you can do one little thing that can kind of tweak the whole system. So, be on the lookout for that. Universal Music Group is raising $3.5 billion for financing. So when you hear a huge number like that, they're getting ready to make some purchases, some stuff is going on. So the big deal about this is that this is the first time that they've actually done it under the Universal Music Group. So they're potentially breaking out. Well, we know it's going to happen. They're going to break out to be able to be traded on the stock market in Amsterdam. So the parent company, the company that actually owns Universal Music Group, is Vivendi. So typically anytime moves are made, it's through Vivendi. So even though they haven't officially split off from there for where you can actually invest directly just yet, those moves are coming since they're actually raising the money themselves instead of the parent company, Vivendi, doing it for them. So, it'll be interesting to see what goes on there, what kind of record deals they come up with, music publishing, and all this other stuff. Because if you're automatically raising money like that before you go public where more people can invest in you, that means that they've got big plans. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up spending that money on.
Absolutely.
And also in acquisition, Sony Music bought Som Livre, which is Brazil's biggest local record label. And so we announced a couple weeks ago that it looked like that would happen, somewhere between the $200 to $3 million range. They landed right at $255 million. So they're obviously trying to expand into a different market. We've been seeing that a lot with some of the streaming companies just trying to branch out, and a lot of the record labels are doing this. So if you pay attention, all these stories have been kind of pointing towards what they're considering emerging markets. So, places in Latin America, countries all across Africa, India. So, keep an eye out for that. And the important thing about that for music artists to recognize is that if these labels are seeing the potential for music lovers in these areas, that means that those are potential music lovers for your music. So, keep an open mind when you're doing your music promotion, your music marketing, all that good stuff. When you're choosing a distributor, make sure that you can be in these key areas. So, there's a lot more than just Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal. There's so many more platforms that you need to be at. So that way all these people in all these other countries and continents can hear what you have to offer.
And if you see a way to create a platform yourself, that door is open for that also.
Sure. Yep. And also, once again, with the expansion, Universal and Republic Records teamed up to be able to launch Universal Arabic Music. So they just launched that this month, April, which is actually Arab American Heritage Month. So this announcement comes right on time. They're still in the process of building, but they're trying to nab that market over there because there's a lot of people that listen to music, a lot of people that make music. So by just focusing on the United States, you'd be missing out on so much.
Well, it's a mighty, 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 mighty large world. Mm-hmm. And some people get in a cocoon thinking that, hey, the USA is great and so on and so forth, but they're thinking that the USA is the only entity out there, and that's not true. Okay, right. So especially, we can allude to that right here on this show because we're interviewing guests from all over the globe.
Right.
So got to use that broad view.
Absolutely. They say act local, but think global. So definitely do that. And once again, in more international news, Spotify, we know that they've moved into India, but they announced their strategy and how they're trying to kind of get into that market a little bit stronger over there, because there are two digital service providers, which in short is DSPs. If you keep seeing that everywhere, that's what that's about. So there's two, Ghana and JioSaavn have more than 150 million monthly active users. And so far over there, Spotify, which they haven't announced it or confirmed it, but industry experts have speculated that they have about 15 to 20 million in the region. So if those providers have 150 million and Spotify being new over there has 15 to 20 million, that just lets you know like the potential for growth and, what's going to come in. So Spotify is automatically trying to expand their territory there. And it'll be kind of interesting to see how that plays out, because according to their plan, initially, they just wanted to hit the major metropolitan areas. So that's something that you kind of see happen everywhere. They just think, okay, let's hit the big cities. Even in the US, when, artists are touring and all that stuff, most of the time they just focus on the major cities. But what Spotify learned right away once getting into India was that they had to do more than just the metropolitan areas. They had to hit the rural areas, and that's where they were seeing more of their growth. But it took a minute for them to kind of find that stride. So, it's a fascinating thing to watch, and yeah, we'll see what comes of that.
Yep, we'll see.
All right, and Big Machine, the label has the conglomerate has announced that they're the title sponsor for the Music City Grand Prix. And so upon looking up this information, I was unaware that they also have a distillery as well as having their own racing company. So it makes sense. It's a very strategic move. And, when you look at major companies do things like this, it kind of makes you think, as an independent artist, what other things can you align yourself with to help promote you and get your music and your brand out there. So, just a little tidbit, something for you to keep in mind. Pay attention to these partnerships that may not be obvious on the surface, but once you dig deeper, you're like, that makes sense. Look for ways and strategies to kind of take those efforts and make it work for you.
Collaborate.
Yes, it's key. All right, and that does it for this particular segment of Music Industry News. We'll be right back with you before the end of the night to close it out with you. right, and that does it for today's edition of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. We're so thankful for you joining us today, and you know what? We can't wait to do it again next week and hope that you'll join us.
That's right. And don't forget to visit Achickwitbeatz.com and thumb through the directory there, because there's a lot of songs, there's a lot of beats. Hey, you're an artist, that might be the next big song for you, might be in that directory. So get with her and you may be able to pick something up that suits your taste and turn that into a #1 hit.
Thank you so much. We got a lot of diversity out there for you, so please do just as he said. And also make sure that you check Breezy out if you're looking for, diversification of income. You need a little bit of help with some legal issues, all that. Make sure you check Breezy out.
Appreciate that.
All right, and that does it. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Tune in, tell a friend. We'll see you then. Peace.